So let's bring in the dust and the debris into their own render nodes as well. So another two. So I'm going to call this one dust render. Kind of annoys me that I don't have a capital letter there. Doesn't really matter. And another one, which will be debris. Look at that. Okay, and then make these red also. And for the dust, let's just dive inside here. We got an error because there's nothing. You know, we only started from frame 40 for both of them, I think. I think if we come here and go to load from file and missing frame, just do no geometry. No geometry, there we go. And then I'm going to merge these. So before the pyro post process, okay, because we're rendering with Arnold, we're not going to use this thing. So merge both of them together. Oops, drop a null, not a for each group, sorry, drop a null. Okay, and then call this out dust. Come up here and then grab that into our dust area. Let me get rid of this and dive in here and object merge that in. Go ahead and find that. So where was that? In dust. Out dust. Okay, we won't see it unless we go forward a few frames. There it is. Okay, get rid of that. I'm going to delete this light. It's kind of annoying me. We're not going to be using this. Again, we're using Arnold. And then for the debris, I think we've already got an out for that. Let me just double check. Yeah, out debris there. We're removing some of them there. Let's do it before. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think we need to do this. Let's do another one for the render. Okay, so I'm going to drop a null here because this was to do with the. I don't want to be deleting points for the render because that will mess up the motion blur. Okay, so I'm going to do another one here. Out debris render. Up here, okay, and then dive in here, object merge that debris in, debris out debris render. There we go, and we have our lovely debris. And come back out. So let's start with just a environment light. So Arnold light. Okay, let me bring these cameras down so we're all kind of close together. On a light, so the light will be a sky dome, which is the environment light. Okay, same as in Houdini, the environment light here, which is like a big, infinitely large sphere. And we don't want just a color, we want a texture. Be careful with this. Sometimes I find if you have this on high quality lighting mode, then I find Houdini crashes sometimes. Okay, and then go ahead and find that. So go into your HIP folder and then to that HDR that we dragged in. HDR, not HDA, and then find that Canon. Okay. Get rid of that color thing there. And that will be working. Okay, we've got a color on that. So, and then let's set up our Arnold drop. So I'm going into the output. Arnold, I'm going to start with shot 2. And then we're going to be rendering the geometry and the volume separately. Okay, so we'll start with the geometry. Let's do geo and volumes separately. So in the geo, if we go into main here, get rid of this candidate object, so that will render anything with the visualization flag turned on. And then in force objects, come in here, and then we're going to grab the bridge render. We'll do the colors render as well, but I'm just going to leave. No, we'll do them both now. But what I might do is delete some of the cars because they seem to be running pretty slowly. Okay, so I'm going to grab the debris render, cars render, and bridge render. And then for lights, we'll just leave lights like that for the... No, actually, we'll get rid of candidate lights because we might want different lights for the volume and the geometry. So go to force light. So that means whether they are, you know, we're definitely going to use this light. Grab this and light 1. I'm just going to change that name. So we'll just call it Arnold Light HDR. And that should update, you know, over in our, yeah, there we go. Very good. Let's find, so we'll jump into that shot 2 camera. Let's find a frame that we like. We'll just do, you know, we'll focus on one frame since it'll be running slowly otherwise. Maybe I'll head forward a bit to like a frame 100, nice round number. Okay, and then for the cars, I'm going to dive in here and I'm going to just kind of delete a load of them. So maybe if we come out to the camera and just make a selection based on the name attribute, if we do that, and then we won't get anything weird. So if we come to, if we press 9 on your keyboard and then come here, go to name attribute. Okay, and then just grab a load of these. You could probably just do it with a primitive number or point number as well, actually. And then just select them, press delete on your keyboard. Okay, and delete non-selected. Okay, that should make things run a bit faster so that we can still see a load of cars. This won't be for the final render. This is just for, you know, for now while we're configuring everything. And then for the dust, well, we don't have the material applied to the dust, so let's make sure we do that. Sorry, not the dust, the debris. So render, come to material, and then into shop, and I think we have a debris there. Great. By the way, if you don't have these Arnold tabs on your geometry nodes, I'd have them on all of them, but there we go. On these, if you're, you know, these are old nodes before, if it's there before you installed Arnold, then you won't have the Arnold tab, and all you need to do is select the node, right click, go to your Arnold tab, and go to add Arnold properties, and you'll see the tab drop in there. Okay, but for a new node, you can see it comes in anyway. So I think we can render this now. Let's go to our lights there, because we'll probably want to configure that, maybe transform, or, you know, the brightness most likely we'll want to change. Okay, let's jump into our render view. Let's set the size to a bit smaller, I think. So go to main, sorry, not main, go to properties, override camera resolution, and then I'm going to make this, let's set it to half of what it is, which is, I think all of them are set to 2K. So, oh no, just HD. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so we've got a render. It doesn't look great at the moment, I will admit. So I can see, we can actually see the background of the light there. This pink here, if we go into our Arnold ROP and then go to system or diagnostics, go to the bottom, and then you can see these colors here. And you can see this pink is the same, and that says bad shader color. So something doesn't have the shader applied correctly. So we'll look into that. And all these balls, this is the debris, so all the particles are rendering at a big size. Okay, so we'll take a look at that and fix that in a moment.